Hello everybody and welcome back to Odin's Movie Blog. I am the critic who is a cynic. Hope you're doing well, and today, oh boy, so sorry I am late. I know I was on such a roll getting here early and on time for so long. All the bots are now active, I believe, so everyone will start to collect the cookies and give you cookie count updates. But I was indeed over on the Geeks and Gamers channel because he wanted to do a live stream. Anna, that Star Wars girl, was over there. Mecha Random 42 was over there as well. And I obviously wanted to give as much time to them as I could, and also wanted to get here as soon as possible. So I am indeed here. You guys are all awesome. Thank you so much for waiting. And also, great news, guys. The Odin button has been fixed. So now if you just put Odin in the chat, it'll pop up orange once again. I had to change a couple of things, but I got it working, everybody. So the Odins are lighting up. So let's see. Yerk Hoekstra. Thank you very much for being here. Aiden Vickery, Tina and Steph are here as well. Stephanie B, what's going on? Also, let's see. I see Milady's in the chat as well. Oh, wait. I think it all disappeared. Erase from existence. There it is. Laura Ryan stole my fanfiction story. Says, sup OG Odin. Yo, what's going on? Yeah, I was dropping some bombs over on the Geeks and Gamers channel. Outpost Dyer, what's going on, bruv? Also, speaking of Outpost Dyer and Laura, this Sunday, guys, 12:30, I think is the time that I established, Central Standard Time. Me, Laura, and Outpost Dyer, also known as Kyle. Not only will we be celebrating Kyle's birthday, last time I checked, that's, I believe, the day of his birthday, but also, too, the launch of his new book as well. And we're going to be having our Patreon stream, and so it'll be me, Laura, and Kyle. At least for now. If there's a couple other people who are indeed in the upper tier, again, my chosen of Valhalla, who might want to join us. If they do, great, we'll have them on too. If not, it'll just be us three, and it looks to be a good time. So that's going to be this coming Sunday, everybody. Cannot wait to talk once again to Laura and Outpost Dyer. And Laura and I have a lot to talk about too, because we just found out that there's going to be a Rebels panel at Star Wars Celebration. We've been talking about that in a chat, because I'm still trying to figure out how to get this new app. I don't think it's live yet, but once it is, you'll be able to figure certain things out. So I'm very excited. Frank is here. What's going on, Frank? Vlad says, sup, Odin. What's going on? What's going on? All right. This chat is just all over the place. Keeps jumping on me. Keeps jumping on me. All right, let's see. Rogue Baron. Oh, just Odin. You don't have to even put the @ symbol anymore. Now it's just Odin. I fixed it. Sell Wine, welcome to the channel. Yivo, the Senate. Hashtag straight out of Asgard. So the Senate was watching it. Oh, man, straight out of Asgard, man. It's going to be the best album yet. And also, definitely need to get on that shirt. Straight out of Asgard. Just use the same printing and everything. Tina says, well, there it is. Yep, just Odin. You don't have to put the @ symbol. Just Odin. It pops up. I fixed it. So basically what I had to do was I had to sign out of Streamlabs with my old email address. Sign in with my Odin's Movie Blog email address. Make sure the name on the Odin's Movie Blog address was Odin. And now anytime Odin is pressed in there, no matter what, even if it's not the name Odin, but maybe the letters ODIN are in a name, those pop up too. So I've fixed it, just Odin from this point forward. Well, there it is. It works. Dan Wright. Dang, dang, dang right. A New Disguise. What's going on? Lily Patton. Jake75 says, what's up, Odin? Whose video was Jeremy talking about in his live stream? I literally jumped on it for maybe like 10, 15 minutes, so I don't know the guy's name. And if I did, I don't know if I'd want to give him attention either. John Ronan says, hey, Odin, still trying to get through Mahler, Jeremy, and Jeff video. Holy crap. I heard that went on for like 8 hours, so good luck getting through all of that. Hamlet's Tragedy. What's going on? What's going on? Soul Assassin says, hola, and when's the Straight Outta Asgard album coming out? Soon. Soon. Soon, fam. All right? You got to be patient, all right? Art doesn't just come overnight, guys. Again, I got to get in the mood. I got to get in the mindset. Go, you know, almost there. Almost there. We're going to get there. But first, we got to get straight out of Asgard. Laura says, Odin is greater than Jeremy. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that, Laura. Coming from you, that really does mean a lot because you are awesome. Eric Rhodes says, hey, Allfather, I love your streams. I can't stay long. Unfortunately, Eric, well, thank you for stopping by at the very least, man. Love having you here. J-Roar, what's going on, bro? What's going on? So that was J-Roar. Okay. Now the chat's just being all jumpy today. I don't like that. I don't like when it's jumpy. Riot Kitty, hello. I love your stuff, Odin. Well, Riot Kitty, thank you very much. Appreciate you for being here. Adam Shawhan is here as well. Vladdy, Alita, $400 million angel. Damn right. So for those that do not know, at the very end of the video I did today, which was a long one, and I'm sorry about that, and it's also about Captain Marvel. I know that a lot of you don't like that topic being talked about nonstop, and I have respected that by not spending entire videos, just focused on the movie. But I thought today was one that's important because Endgame, obviously is not too far away. They just announced it's going to be a 3-hour movie. And so I thought it was important for us to be able to kind of just make clear about why Endgame could really be the end of the MCU, or the beginning of the end for the MCU, because there are a lot of people who have been watching these films for 10, 11 years now, who have invested in these 22 films into these characters, who once certain characters are gone, if they are indeed gone, because we really haven't had any confirmation because everything's being kept very, very hush-hush. If you don't have, for example, a Robert Downey Jr., if you don't have a Chris Evans anymore, who are going to fill those spots? And if the answer is, oh, Brie Larson, I'm sorry, but you're going to see a drop-off. Even, let's say, Brie Larson was out of the picture, you're going to see a drop of Thanos in some way. And so when you look to those things, you realize that this is its own saga, and they're obviously going to start a new saga afterwards, and they've already made clear there's a certain direction they want to go in. It seems to be a pretty good jumping off point, I think, for a lot of people. So let's just wait and see what happens. But Vladdy is pointing out that at the very end of the video, I stated that Alita Battle Angel has now officially crossed the $400 million worldwide range. It, of course, is still not broken even. $430 million is that number. However, as I mentioned previously, you only need about 25 million or so in Blu-ray sales, which only means that they have to sell about 1 million copies or so. And since everyone I know on this channel who loves Alita is planning to buy the 3D, the 4K, literally whatever is available, tells me all that I need to know about how much money they're going to make. Because just because you sell a certain number of units, if those units are worth more than what other films might be selling, for, great example of that, you had a lot of units sell for The Last Jedi, but you had more money, less units for Avengers Infinity War. What that means is that in that situation, you had people buying the more expensive products more so for the Infinity War rather than for The Last Jedi. And so that's why you saw it breaking down in that way. I think that you're not going to see nearly as high. I don't think you're going to see 3 million units sold for Alita, though of course, anything is possible. I honestly do think, though, at least 1 million units to be sold, and it's going to make at least $25–30 million from that alone. It's going to make its money back. And right now, it's totally up to James Cameron as to whether or not we get an Alita sequel. Let's see. Snowdub Music says, I gave you a shout out on my last video. Did you see it? I don't think so, Snowdub. So DM me the video, man, on Twitter, and I will love to see it and check it out, man, when I have time. So for those that don't know, another reason why I was late is because we've been doing tax stuff over here, which has just been insane. Of course, as you guys know, I've got a lot of stuff going on with work. I was out of town this weekend. There's just a lot of moving parts, and a lot of it's just been absolutely crazy. So thank you guys for being patient with that. Thank you so much for supporting me during this time. It really does seriously mean a lot. Like, this is a very big outlet for me because we all have different ways in which we approach certain things and different ways that we handle certain situations. And so having this as an outlet for me has been just awesome. And so seriously, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for being there. Thank you for sticking around. I know that a bunch of people are over at the Geeks and Gamers channel watching that stream. So for the people that are watching this one, seriously, it really does mean a lot that you like to have conversations and talk about these things and hear my perspective and share your perspective as well. And I hope that as long as I'm able to, that this remains a forum where you can get your perspectives out there and read as well. Vincent Bedon, what's going on, bruv? Tina says, when is this on Sunday? The Valkyrie need to check their schedules. Around 12:30 CST is the last thing I tried. Yes, indeed, Tina. It showed up. Again, just Odin. Great t-shirt idea, Odin, says Steph. Well, actually, I think it was Jeremy that said to do that. So straight out of Asgard, though, I should definitely get on that. I'm terrible at design, so I might have to see if the wife's going to be able to do it or not, but definitely sounds like a lot of fun to me. Let's see. Vincent Baudon says, doesn't do anything when I put Odin. Maybe it's just my ult. So here's the thing. It's not going to show up on your end. It's going to show up on my end. So anytime that the name Odin is used, in a sense, it shows up for me. It pops up as orange for me. So just know that. So I saw your comment because it says that. Scott Guzman says, by Odin's beard. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Dion, what's going on, bruv? What's going on? Roldy says, we need the Street Odin for this live stream. I don't know. Street Odin might have to come out a little bit later, all right? Street Odin works better in groups. He's a pack animal. He's able to handle the crowds a little bit better. He's able to interact and all that kind of stuff. But if it's just me right now, probably we'll have to save that for maybe the very end. Maybe at the very end he'll throw down a diss track or something. Rhaegar Targaryen says, Just Odin is a good brand name, by the way. Hashtag Just Odin. Could be. Vlad Riot says, is it just me or does Odin's sound get lower and lower each stream? Well, it could be that. The reason why I think, hold on, let me play around with this a little bit. Let me play around with this. All right. I always forget which setting. I think it sounds, recording. The reason why is because I tend to blow my microphone out a lot. Oh, wait a minute. This is, yeah, all right. This is supposed to be like at 65. How does that sound? Let me go live. So guys, I'm sorry if I skipped the chat. I've just bumped up the gain to 65. Does this sound better? Tina says loud. It says louder. That helped out a lot. So yeah, unfortunately, sorry, I should have done a I should have done a headphone warning for my people wearing headphones. So please let me know. Much better. Okay. Does it need to go any louder, or is this like perfect? I don't know why it was set down to 39. That's insane. All right, sounds good now. Perfect. Sufficiently epic. Perfect. Tube. Thank you, sir. This is great. Perfect. Turn my headphones up. Pretty good now. Alita sequel now. Odin, let's get it. I hope so. Perfect. Awesome. All right, so 65 sounds like the magic number. All right. Anyway, thank you so much for letting me know that. Let me go ahead back up to the chat so that way I can get anyone, because I don't want to miss any chats. I don't want to miss nobody. I want to feel the heat with somebody. I don't know why that song came to my mind. Lord Soulsad says, Endgame may be being 3 hours long. Better take a pee bottle just in case. See, I'm actually one person where I can sit through long movies and not even actually have to use the restroom. It's like a gift, and I don't know why. I'm just able to sit down in a long period of time and be able to do that. That's why I was able to do, for example, when I did the 5-hour live stream on this channel, did not get up to use the restroom once, and it's just because I just have that capacity. I don't know why. Stevie says, nobody can deny that Endgame will be the end of the main storyline of the MCU. Whatever comes after might be good, but not as cohesive with the bigger picture. I think that's what it is. If this is going to be the end of a saga, then it makes sense that they're going to want to take it in a new direction. And they've already made clear saying, that's what we want to do. This is the new direction that we want to go in. And so the question is going to be, okay, is that a direction that a lot of people want to go into? That's why even let's just take Captain Marvel out of the equation. Let's take Brie Larson and all the comments and the Rotten Tomatoes, everything out of it. You are already going to see a drop-off after Endgame because people, again, have invested so much time into this universe. And if it's going to be the end of this saga that's been built up over 10 years, it's going to take another 10 years, essentially, theoretically, to build up a new saga. But you need to have characters and actors that are going to be able to bring those people or keep those people. And if you're going to lose a Robert Downey Jr., which is, I think, out of all the names that have been mentioned, Robert Downey Jr., I think, is the most likely to no longer be attached, is the most likely person to move on. So not only are they losing out on someone who is a huge, you want to know why we know he's a huge box office success? Look at the Iron Man movies. Again, Iron Man 1 obviously was great because it was a good film, but Iron Man 2, definitely on the weaker side, still made lots. Iron Man 3, again, mixed reviews on that one, still made a crap ton of money, and it's because Robert Downey Jr. was able to bring in the money. So this is also a guy that's one of the highest paid stars in the entire MCU because of that fact. People don't get paid just because they have really great agents. They get paid a lot of money normally because they are, in the eyes of the studios, worth that amount of money. Again, they are worth, in the eyes of the studio, taking that kind of a risk or putting that kind of money out there because they expect to get a massive return on that investment. And that's the reason why we see it happen in that way. Let's see. Let's see. Zen Water says, how do Netflix views work towards money-making work? Yeah, so basically the way Zen Waters is that it's not based on views. Basically, what happens is Netflix, if it's going to be taking in someone else's content, so not a Netflix original, what they'll do is they'll work out a deal with the studio. And so essentially, there will be some kind of money changing hands to allow the movie to play on that streaming service. And so therefore, it's just basically... It really isn't that clear, to be honest, about who gets money and how is the money transferred and what do they actually get out of it. And so from what I can have as far as a perspective goes, the studio gets paid by Netflix and Netflix gets access to the show. By getting Netflix access to the show, Netflix therefore has the ability to bring in more subscribers to their service to watch said movie. And that's, to me, how the relationship usually works. And so when it comes to Alita, for example, let's say Alita would show on Netflix. It probably won't, because now Alita is technically going to be under, at least as the product itself, going to be under the Disney umbrella because of the Fox acquisition. It's going to be interesting to see where they play Alita, because if Alita plays on the Disney streaming service, then at that point they're not going to be paying themselves, and so I don't really know how much money it's going to make from that. But the DVD and Blu-ray service for sure. But if, let's say, for example, it theoretically went to, and in this case, Alita went over to Netflix, well, then Netflix would pay for the rights to show that movie, and then they would hope to be able to get some more subscribers to have people watch it. Robaron says, I hate taxes, Odin. Dude, seriously, taxes suck. You know, you're looking at all these numbers, and that's the other thing too, and that's why YouTube is so deceptive, because you start to see, again, when you get monetized, you start to see the numbers and the super chats and all this other stuff, but then you realize, okay, wait a minute, first off, I don't get all of this, you know, from YouTube's end, because YouTube take a giant cut out of ad revenue and also out of super chat money, which is why I always suggest Streamlabs, because more of that goes to the content creators, not just for me, but in general. If someone has a Streamlabs account, I'd recommend donating to them through there or PayPal, because more of that, you know, more of your hard-earned money is going to go to the people that you're trying to support, and less of it's going to go to YouTube. YouTube takes like a 30% cut out of every single super chat. So you have to take that into account. Then also, of course, ad revenue. They take so much from ad revenue. YouTubers really get pennies, like pennies on everything. It's absolutely insane. But then even after all of that, they don't take out any taxes, which means you're looking at, oh, look how much I made this month. Oh, wait a minute. None of it was taxed. And so now you have to think, okay, now I have to pay taxes on that at the end of the year. And if I haven't been planning for that and saving for that, then I'm probably going to end up owing money, because that's more taxable income. So it's this whole thing. And so basically we're trying to, because this is the first year where YouTube has actually kind of been a part of the income. Like, obviously, you know, I have my main job and everything, and that's where the, you know, the vast majority of the income comes from. But, you know, I've made a decent amount. Again, there has been decent, you know, money made here, but obviously you also know that I've invested a lot of that into the channel with the, you know, the PC build. God, that PC build, if everyone remembers, I think the stream is still up there, when I tried to build the PC live, and it was awful, and I crashed and I burned, and it was so frustrating. So that, obviously, because of your generosity, was able to be built. But as I said, these are all things that I use to invest into the channel. And so now it's getting to the point where we're trying to figure out, the reason why it took us so long was because we're trying to figure out, okay, what type of purchases did we make? And, you know, were they related to the channel? Were they not related to the channel? Obviously, we're not too worried about getting audited or anything, because we were pretty honest with all the numbers and everything. But it was just interesting to see how that all takes into place. So basically, by staying focused and by trying to stay focused on that, sorry to talk about taxes, guys, but it was brought up. What it means is that less of the income made from YouTube is going to be taxed because of the deductions that we were able to make because of the investments that we made into the channel. So again, thank you all so much for caring for the channel, being so supportive, and basically allowing me to just have fun, and to have fun with you guys, and to just express myself. Like, seriously, you're all amazing. I love you so much. And yes, I hate taxes too. No more tax talk. Septerm Gaming says, I have 2 accounts with Septerm, so sorry for the confusion. I thought that was the case, Septerm, because I was seeing different names, and I was like, wait a minute, this doesn't make any sense. Laura says, thanks for the podcast about the Captain Marvel conspiracy theory stuff, no problem. So Laura gave a huge recommendation to me about talking about the Captain Marvel conspiracies that a lot of YouTubers have been focusing on, and I wanted to kind of clear things up from someone who's worked at a movie theater, for someone who's followed these numbers for a long time, who's also had contact with other people who have different perspectives about how these theaters work. And so I wanted to clear some of that stuff up. So if you are a Patreon member, just a $5 or up tier, you have access to that right now. So if you become a patron, you can have access to that. If not, you can get it next week. I make all the podcast episodes public after a week. And then, of course, the Patreon members get the newer episodes. And, of course, all these live streams are also being made into podcasts, too. That's through a difference, not through Patreon. It's through something else. So if you miss this live stream and you would rather listen to it as a podcast, which I'm sure, which I'm sure is going to make everyone so happy when the audio jumps up like 30 decibels at that random point, which I'm very glad that you were able to get that figured out in the very beginning, because otherwise I think it would have been really, really hard editing it down the line. But anyway, Roldy, thank you very much for the $5 super chat, says, so are you Fenrir when you are in the pack? When I am in the pack, I am simply Odin from the streets. I'm Odin from the streets. Let's see. Lady Jedi Scientist, welcome to the channel. And the Price is Right review, thank you very much for the super chat, says, yo, Odin, my homie. Sup, never get enough of your content. Keep it up. Price is Right review, thank you very much. Really do appreciate that. Steph says, you are a good kid. Oh, well, thank you. You're awesome too, by the way. Santa Spoiler Anna says, there's a new Odin meme in the Geeks and Gamers group chat already. Are you serious? Wait, Is it a new meme or were there memes already? Because I'm off Facebook right now. I'm kind of like just taking a break. I'm like, okay, I need to get away from some of the social media pages. So if someone can send me that, if someone is a part of it, so Valkyrie, maybe if you're a part of the Facebook group, if you can send me the meme that someone's made, I cannot wait to see it because that sounds hilarious. James Harold says, Odin is orange. I'm not that orange. I do set my white balance at a certain level because I don't want to look... if you don't know this, if you weren't watching the stream when I was talking to my Irish sister, Julie, then you would know that I'm like so white. I'm as pale as the sun. The sun reflects off of me. It's insane. I look like the transfiguration when the sun is shining because of my white skin and just how much it glows. It also means I get burned very easily too. So I set the white balance at a certain level because I don't like when I look that pale. So trust me, I can be even more orange than I am now. I can be even more orange than I am now. I will tell you that much. In fact, you know what? Let me go ahead and show you just how orange that I can actually be. So let's make sure I'm on the right video here. All right, so this is, this is my standard, this is my standard color right here that I like to play around with. But if I really wanted to, if you thought that I was orange now, I mean, I could be that orange. I could be like that. Or I could just look like death. This is what I try to avoid. This is very cold, and I prefer a little bit of the, the warmer middle. And that's why that's just about perfect for me. So if I look orange, that is fine because it's better than the two alternatives. Let's see, Regular Targaryen says, your videos about what Captain Marvel's success means for the MCU and how it could go woke terrifies me. I don't scare easy. And I think it is something that we need to take into account because everyone's going to be focused on the numbers and everything and, oh, you were wrong and the trolls. Hey, trust me. Like, I understand that there's a lot of different narratives going on. The main point of the video that I made today was that if the MCU, if Kevin Feige wants to be smart, he cannot for a second think that Endgame, again, being the end of a saga, having the, having it be the potential send-off to three major giant name actors, Robert Downey Jr. being at the top of that list, Chris Evans, maybe Chris Hemsworth. I mean, there's a lot of other names that have been floated around. If you're going to have that kind of an exodus, you're going to have fans that leave with them just by its nature. When you have anyone leave, think about any TV franchise. When there is a character that is loved and is appreciated, when they leave, you oftentimes see the audience's drops as well. Again, this is just a standard practice. So the MCU is essentially just a gigantic movie-led, because obviously this is not just a TV series, it's a series of movies, which in the end is almost like a gigantic TV series when you really think about it. And now they're going through their first major change and shift. You're gonna see a drop-off after the movie. The question is, how much of a drop-off are you going to see? And is Endgame going to be impacted by that at all? Because if they try and push these new characters, because remember they tried in Star Wars, if they try and push Captain Marvel becomes the center of the Endgame story, you're going to turn a lot of people off because people are going to see Endgame for pretty much one major reason. They want to see the original six kick ass on screen, they want to know what's going to happen to these guys, and they want to know the story's conclusion, this saga's conclusion. And if you have too much of, that's why I said to limit her. I didn't say to expel her altogether. I know there's many people out there, and in my heart of hearts, I wish that she wasn't in the movie either because it would have been better for her to be introduced after the fact. Or hell, you could even have a, end credit scene where you introduce her, and that would have been fine too, I think. Under the Russo brothers' direction, I think it would have been fine. With all that being said, though, what you are instead seeing is a lot of questions being asked about, okay, it's 3 hours. They're obviously going to try a lot of storylines here. How much of it is going to be dedicated to the original story, to the original six, and how much of it is instead going to be them trying to build up new characters? Because The Last Jedi really did show, The Force Awakens really did show that when you spend more time on new characters that no one's invested to, and you try to essentially do away with and put down the original characters that everyone loves, it's gonna end up biting you in the ass. I don't think they're going to do that. I trust the Russos. As I said from the very beginning, in the Russos do we trust. When it comes to movie making, they have not shown me wrong yet. They have not made a bad MCU film yet. And I don't think Endgame's going to be bad either. The fact that it's 3 hours long has me so excited because it means the Russos literally got to just play with this movie. Literally just got to be like, okay, we want to try all this crazy stuff. We have an unlimited budget. We've got all these amazing actors in here. Let's just have fun. Let's just go nuts. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. That's what my mindset is when it came to the Russos. When they got this script and everything, they're like, oh my gosh, it's like candy in a candy store. I just don't know what to do with it. And I really hope that they do. because I will go see that. I know there's some people that say, I'm out, I don't want to support Endgame because I don't want to, I want to make a stand now, and I respect you. If that is where you are now, I respect that. I will go to see it. I will probably go to pay to see it, and the only reason why is because I want to be able to leave with one last movie of the saga as it was before it jumped off into any cliffs. And again, things can change. For all we know, Kevin Feige could step down. For all we know, Kevin Feige could be doing other things. For all we know, Kevin Feige could be leaving the universe. I don't think so. I doubt it. He's still a relatively young guy. He has a lot of power, a lot of influence. He's, up to this point, except for Captain Marvel, done a pretty damn good job putting good stories out there. So I don't think he's going anywhere. But I think that he honestly just needs to take a step back for a second and say, am I really trying to tell every person out there that Robert Downey Jr. is going to be replaced with Brie Larson? Because again, take out your own opinion on Captain Marvel and all that mess, and just put those two people next to each other, Brie Larson and Robert Downey Jr. If you're going to try and say they're on the same level, I'm sorry, but you're crazy. Like, there's no other way to put it. But if instead you're going to try and say and be open to the fact of, okay, one is very, 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 very green and is already being pushed to the stars, and that could end up paying, or rather costing them in the future, versus this guy was already an established actor in the first place, had his, career reborn by this character of Tony Stark, has really been this, the center of the MCU for the past 10 years. I mean, the Iron Man movies are the ones that made the money. The Iron Man movies are, I think, what kept so many people invested in the storyline. Why do you think that Homecoming did so well? Because Iron Man was in it. Some people didn't like that. I did. I loved seeing that father-son dynamic between the two. I like Spider-Man Homecoming. But also, too, I'm not a comics fan, so I can understand why certain comics fans out there, like, Jeff at World Class BSers, or maybe Nerdrotic, or anyone else who might have an issue with the story or issue with the character because it doesn't live up to the character as they know it, and I totally respect that. But as a normie, with a brain, as I like to say, I really did like it. So when I understand and know and accept that these characters, especially Robert Downey Jr., are likely going to be leaving, and I'm saying, okay, but where do you go from there? Who replaces them? If your answer is, oh, Brie Larson, not good. Not good. Sticky V says, Street Odin runs with the dogs. Damn right. And then Bishop says, Alita, let's have that sequel. Yes, please. Would love to have an Alita sequel. And as I said, it's totally up to James Cameron at this point. Financially speaking, it's going to be in the black. By the end of its Blu-rays, however much it makes on Blu-ray, it's going to be in the black. People are seriously chomping at the bit, wanting to buy it, pre-order it on DVD, on Blu-ray, on 4K, on 4K 3D, on any format, you name it. I have people saying, I'm going to buy 10 copies. I'm going to buy 2 so I can give it to somebody else. There are people that want to see this. They want to buy it. They want to own it. And so knowing that passion's there, that is how movies oftentimes get, and franchises for that matter, get a second life. And I think that Alita deserves one, and deserves to be marketed so much better than what it was, unfortunately, like it wasn't last time. So absolutely, man. Absolutely hope that happens. Roe Baron says, all right, there's the headphones warning. Everyone's saying, oh, yes, watch the headphones. Watch the headphones. Watch the headphones indeed. Didn't want anyone's ears getting blown out now, did we? Alrighty. So, perfect. All right, I think that I didn't miss any chats because everyone was still talking about, it seemed that they were talking about something else. Let's see, James Harold says, Odin, no, just start singing. What's going on? Odin looks blurry on his end. I'm blurry? Am I blurry? Do I need to change the, it's hard to tell on this screen. So with where I am right now, because I can configure that as well. Doing this all live, folks, it's all about professionalism here. Okay, so I'm obviously way out of focus there. I think that's about as in focus as I can be. I mean, I can do the autofocus, but then you're going to see it constantly change. So I don't know. You tell me. If the autofocus starts to bother you guys, please let me know, and I will turn that autofocus off. But okay, just to deal with that, because I want to make sure everyone's happy. And we'll see what we can do. Again, you ask, you mention it, I'll see what I can do. Stevie says, please do Sweet Child of Mine, please. Oh, sweet child of mine. Subterranean Gaming says, Alita made $400 million. How much does it mean for a sequel? Technically $430 million. But remember, as I just said, Blu-ray. John Early says, Spider-Man can't go to Asgard in the movies because if you've seen Ragnarok and Infinity War, you know why. Oh, I do. Oh my gosh, when Korg is like, we will rebuild. Oh yeah, we will rebuild this place. Oh, the foundations are strong. Oh, no, never mind. Foundations are gone. I loved Ragnarok so much, man. Like, Taika Waititi had me laughing. For those that don't know, Taika Waititi directed that film, wrote it, and he also played the character of Korg. Korg might be my favorite character in that entire movie. Like, seriously, it's so good. Super Anime Gamer says, hello there. How is Odin doing on this fine Monday evening? Did you enjoy your trip? Trip was fun. Coming back to reality sucked because there are just so many things that are going on, so many things that I need to do, so many things that are on my mind. And also at the same time, I want to make sure that I'm able to balance everything together. So, yeah, I'm okay. You know, dealing with taxes earlier had me freaking out a little bit, but I'm okay for the moment. I'm okay for the moment. Let's see. Jika Tudor says they will introduce Adam Warlock in Guardians 3 for sure. Well, they set him up already in Guardians 2, and since James Gunn is now writing and directing it, I don't think that they would not let him go in that direction. The question is, what are they going to do with him? Are they going to turn him into a villain? Because, you know, they don't really care about what the comics say. You know, maybe here's what you do. You take Adam Warlock, bring him in at Guardians 3, and then Captain Marvel 2 is Adam Warlock versus Captain Marvel, and Captain Marvel, of course, comes up on top. Just so that people can, you know, for all the people that were like, oh, Adam Warlock should be the one to defeat Thanos, they'll be like, oh, yeah, well, he got defeated by her. They would do that, too. They're that petty. James Clark, what's going on, my bruv? What's going on, my love? Pop-Tart Gun says, regarding Street Odin, the loudest one in the room is the weakest one in the room from American Gangsta. Damn right. Damn right, son. Nemesis, oh wait, what, dude, Nemesis, finally. Dude, I feel like you've been missing. Hashtag Thug Life Odin, straight from the streets and a freak in the sheets. Oh, girl, I wouldn't go there. That's getting into my personal life, all right? We on the streets. We don't do that, man. You want to do that, go get a petty. All right, go get a petty and talk about your feelings. If you want to talk about that, we don't talk about that here on the streets. All right, get that nonsense out of here. I'll put you in the timeouts. Subterm Gaming says Endgame is 3 hours long. Gas. Titanic was like what, 4 hours? Yeah, and Titanic was definitely too long. Endgame, I don't think it will be. If this is indeed the end of the phase, not just the end of the phase, but the end of this saga, you're gonna need to put so many things into it. And with the Russo brothers behind it, I think it's gonna be good. I have a lot of faith in them. Again, they have not let me down yet. Hamlet's Tragedy says, taking my word for it, my buddy is in the business. He said that Robert Downey Jr. actually had claustrophobia and had trouble getting in and out of the suit. Not sure if it's true or not. That is very interesting. Wouldn't surprise me because I know that sometimes actors deal with that kind of stuff. Super says, Alita will probably go to Hulu. Yeah, I mean, it's a PG-13 franchise. They do drop an F-bomb, so yeah, Hulu is actually now owned. You know, 6% of Hulu is now owned by Disney. And from everything that we've heard so far, Disney Plus is going to be the family series, so all the original Disney content, Disney movies, etc. And then all of the more adult-oriented stuff, or, you know, mature content will probably instead be on Hulu, so it would be interesting. Abosire says, do you think the reason Alita isn't showing up on iTunes pre-order because of the Disney-Fox merger? Do you think they will shelve it? They're not going to shelve the release. It is a movie, and it has obviously a major following, and here's one thing that they're not going to do. They're not going to turn down money. It costs them very little to make a Blu-ray. Again, Blu-rays themselves, you know, when you actually break down how much a Blu-ray individually costs, along with everything else, and what they charge, they make a killing on Blu-ray sales. So they're not going to deny that. I think at this point, it's just because they haven't made it official yet. You know, there are some movies out there that are able to get official DVD Blu-ray releases early and able to get that information out there early. Some movies, it takes a little bit more time. And I just think that that's the situation we're in now, is most likely, I would say, and Outpost, I'm glad that you brought up the Disney merger. I would not be surprised if the Disney-Fox merger has delayed just stuff in general. Not just like Alita, not holding Alita back, but just think about how the fact they are, you know, shuffling people around, firing people. Again, estimated between 3,000 and 10,000 people are going to get fired, closing certain studios, reallocating funds. All this chaos is going on. And so there are certain things I think they're going to be put on the back burner, not permanently though, because as I said, they're not going to turn down free money. And if anyone can know, and if anyone can speak from this as someone who's going to buy the Blu-ray as soon as it's available, they're going to make money. Again, even if they, make so many copies and only so many sell, based on how much they just, upcharge those things, they're going to make money. There's enough passionate people out there that want to buy it. So I think that the chaos of the Disney deal has kind of slowed a lot of their stuff down. And so they otherwise, I think that if it had been a normal year, they would have already had this stuff figured out, but because it's not a normal year, they're just backed up at this point. Rogue Baron says, can we have you react to the new Dora trailer? Someone tagged me on something earlier, and it was a toy. I have not even seen it. I have no desire to even watch the trailer, so we'll have to see on that. Vladdy says, do you think there's anything suspicious about all of the Alita's official social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, going totally dark since the Disney takeover? It's still in cinemas. They should promo. Well, here's the thing. Obviously, it would be easy for me to go down that road and try and blame Disney, but also remember, too, that film has now been out for, 6-7 weeks? So it's kind of reached the end of its run. It's not in a lot of theaters anymore. It's losing theaters every week, and I think that at this point, they're just not promoting it anymore. I think that's common of many films. I mean, you can look at the Twitter and social media pages for a lot of different films, and you'll see that a lot of them tend to go dark at certain periods of time. And as I said before, if anything, what it is are certain people that have either been shifted around or certain people that just don't know what's going on, who maybe were in charge of those things that might not be anymore, or who knows. I think it's just a lot of the chaos going on behind the scenes that's causing a lot of other things that are normal practice to kind of be pushed in the back burner. That's what I think is going on with that. All right, Sticky V says, we love you too, man. Just keep it up. Good work with always getting, will always get recognized. Well, Sticky V, seriously, thank you, man. Really does appreciate. Really does appreciate. I really do appreciate that. Brad Noble says, 70B as a depend for all the attention she needs, Odin. Says the person who is an attention seeker. Prosis, what is going on, Prosis? Been a while since I've seen you in the chat. Glad to have you back. How you doing this evening? Also, I've got to ask, have you seen that Star Wars fan film, Birth of a Monster? I have not seen Birth of a Monster yet. The last Star Wars fan film I watched was the Vader one, Vader Shards of the Past, which is excellent, and I would recommend that one. But let me know if Birth of a Monster is one that I should watch. Zenwater says, how does becoming a member of a YouTube channel work for income? It's a pretty new feature. Yeah, it is. And it's for me, it's very new because again, the monetization happened towards the end of last year. And it was because of a lot of crazy streams going on, especially with Sensei Mike just dropping bombs constantly, that I made even as much as I did at that time. And now we're kind of in this, homeostasis because I've actually fallen, the counts and the growth has kind of slowed down a lot. And again, that happens. It's a normal part of it. I'm not freaking out over it because at the end of the day, I'm happy with the people that I have here. And if more people join, great. If some people think this isn't for me anymore, hey, I respect you. And, you do you. But at the end of the day, when it comes to the income, basically every month they give you last month's revenue. And that includes the super chats, that includes the ad revenue. And of course, that's after they've taken their cut overall. And you're able to track it somewhat in the dashboard settings, but it's also never fully accurate either. So you really honestly don't know, am I getting paid this month? How much am I getting? Who knows? Which is why things like Patreon and PayPal and all these other things, Streamlabs, are much easier ways of being able to track that kind of stuff because it's more instantaneous and easier to track overall. Rogue Baron says, Odin range man bad? Slicer Neon says, Orange Odin good? Laura says, it's funny that you talked about YouTube taxes. I was wondering about that. Yeah, so basically when you get that check from YouTube with all that awesome YouTube cash, which everyone's like, oh, the YouTube cash, it's like, oh man, it's really not much when you compare it to like everything else that they're making off of it. But basically, they do not take taxes. And so what they do is at the very end of the year, the financial year, they'll send you your form, like the 1099 or whatever it is, and it'll tell you how much you made. And then you have to report that, and then that's all taxable income, which means you have to pay taxes and all that. So if you see, for example, let's say that you have a $100 check. I'm just using an example. I'm not going to go into personal finances, but let's say you have a $100 check and none of it's taxed. Well, whatever your tax rate is, that's how much of it income-wise is going to be taxed. And so you might think, oh, look at all this money I have. And then you're like, oh, wait a minute. A lot of this is going to the federal government because they are taking all of my money. and then you start to hate the government even more. Vlad Riot says, not to spread bad mojo, but your sister is special? What? No. Wait a minute. If you're talking about Julie is an amazing person. She is my Irish sister, and she is fantastic. And for you to say anything negative, I hope that's, I don't know, Vlad, are we going to have a problem here? Are you talking to me? There's nobody else here. Are you talking to me? Do we need to have a conversation? Do we need to step outside? Because we can go. We can go outside, all right? Street Odin is about to come out of the, don't tempt me, man. Don't tempt Street Odin to come out. I'm telling you this right now. Sergio Black, what's going on, bruv? James Harold says, Odin, I meant your highlighted name, not your face. Got you. Rhaegar Targaryen says, hashtag Odin, orange Odin bad. Slasher Neon says, pale beardo solidarity. Yes, okay, so this is how far behind I am. Stephen Glasker, hey, Odin, finally able to get online with you. Stephen Glasker, welcome back. Great to have you on. CFNB says, I'm not on Facebook. Neither am I. Kiko Rogers says, you need freckles. I have them. I have freckles. Sicky V says, if you want to notice, thank you very much for letting them know. James Harold says, I'm not into conspiracy theories. Neither am I, James. I don't like them either, and that's why I try to stay away from them. I try and stay grounded in reality as often as I can. I try and keep things as real as possible. If I make a mistake, I will admit to it, and that's where I am. Let's see. Juanfra Valero, welcome to the channel, and I think I got Sergio Black, but if I didn't, welcome to the channel as well. A Glitch Gnome says, I feel the popcorn fans will be much more fickle than even your average comic book fan. Oh, no, for sure. That's why I said they have to be careful, because Endgame is going to be a massive event. I said very early on that you could potentially see, do I think it's going to make this much money? I mean, if you had to make me bet, if you made me bet money, I would say no. But Endgame has the potential to be a $3 billion film. I mean, Infinity War made $2 billion pretty easily. You have Avatar, which was a crappy movie that made $2.7 billion. So there is a precedent for films being able to make a lot of money. This is a giant event film. A lot of fans have said this is it for them. And so this is going to be a film that they're going to spend as much as they can. Go see it as often as they can to say goodbye to the MCU, at least for them, for some people, not everyone. And so I think that when you take all those factors in, it's going to make a lot of money. It's also probably going to be in the most screens ever in history. I mean, this, we talk about records being broken. This is a movie that is likely going to break actual records. Not like the fake it made the most of an original story deemed by me to be original story. Okay, gotcha. That's a great record that you just mentioned there. But actual, legit single night, opening weekend, these types of things. Super says, I know I'm leaving after Endgame, and if I see another, I certainly won't pay for it. Hey, I hear you, man. I hear you there. Sticky V says, in the Russos we trust, seriously, they have not made a bad movie yet. The Russos are great. That's seriously, the only movies that I would ever say that I would see in the MCU after Endgame would be if the Russos stick on. I don't know if they will. I don't know if they're going to try and do their own thing, but the Russos have been very, very good for the MCU. I really hope they don't ruin it. Slicer Neon says, should the MCU decline sharply after Endgame, how big a detriment will that be to the theater business? Gigantic. I mean, think about how much of the revenue for the box office comes from the MCU, from superhero films in general. Because, yeah, you could still have the DCEU, but that's not doing nearly as much as the MCU films have done. It gives people a reason to go see a movie at least 2-3 times a year. And that is, unfortunately, the vast majority of moviegoers. Most moviegoers only go a few times a year at most. You don't really have, there are the hardcore fans out there, the ones that are there every single week, sometimes, more than that. I used to be that kind of person who just have not had time recently for a lot of different reasons. But I think that it would definitely have a major impact, because if just look at the biggest grossing films, and the MCUs are always up there. The MCU film releases are always up there. And so imagine those either not there or half. Yeah. Not would be good. So you already have theaters closing in the first place. You'd have even more theaters closing. No question about it. Peabody, what's going on, Mr. Peabody? Peabody is here, everybody. I love my Mr. Peabody. All right. Let's see. Chat jumped on me again because y'all are just destroying it tonight. And there's Peabody. All right, so Dan Maloney says, those who fly higher than they should usually end up burning out when they hit the atmosphere and when they inevitably fall. Brie Larson might learn this in the next few years. I agree. Again, I think that it is fool's gold for people to be taking what's going on with Captain Marvel right now and try and say, this proves people want to see her and want more Captain Marvel movies. The example I gave in the video today, Alice in Wonderland, that film made over $1 billion. Terrible reviews, made over $1 billion. The next film they made for that franchise lost money. So the first film made $1 billion. The second film made barely 400 million. Now, I'm not saying Captain Marvel 2 is going to have that massive drop-off, but what I am saying is that you have to understand all of these things in their proper context. You have to understand that when it comes to the MCU, when it comes to especially the placement of Captain Marvel in the MCU, it was meant to be a bridge between realistically Infinity War and Endgame as a way of introducing this new character into Endgame when they really didn't need to in the first place. And so when you take that into account, the fact that the MCU has been just so hot lately, and also that most normies don't pay attention to YouTube and don't pay attention to, all the behind the scenes stuff, it makes total sense in retrospect as to why the film has done so well. But if you think for a second that just because a movie's made $1 billion that it's a good movie and that it's going to be able to sustain itself that way, I'm sorry. There are just too many examples that I can point to as to movies that made a crap ton of money the first time out and then just made less or just bombed the one after. Fen Jaws, welcome to the channel as well. Eric Rhodes says, James Cameron is more interested in Blue Man Group Adventure 2. Good God, man. He needs to give up on those. I mean, seriously. James Cameron, if you're listening to this right now, you're probably not, but if you are, please get out of Avatar universe and make good movies like Alita. We can support you with that. I cannot support Avatar 2. I refuse to do that. Probably will end up seeing it, but I will not support it. All of my fans know what that means. Vlad says, I mean, it's not 4K, Odin, but that's fine. Well, it is set at 720p, and the reason why is because I was having a lot of people that were having buffering issues, and when I fixed it to 720, a lot of people instead said that it was better. So I haven't switched back to 1080p because of that. I might be able to switch back at some point, and maybe that'll be okay. Maybe that issue's been fixed. I don't know. Maybe it was just the weekend or something. And as far as the couch puppies, because I did see that comment as well. So the hounds are out with their mom because the hounds were very upset to be locked in here with mom out in the kitchen. They like Freya. Let's see. Mr. Schiff says, what do you think of the Shazam reactions? Very excited. Very, very excited. Nerdrotic, guys, seriously, Gary Nerdrotic, go give him a subscribe. He's an awesome channel. He's actually said my name a couple times. I listen to his stuff on podcasts, and so whenever he mentions my name, I'm like, Gary, man, that's awesome. He's a really cool dude. I love him. And so I've been listening to his live streams as podcasts. He's the one that inspired me to do the very same thing, to put mine into podcasts as well. He loved Shazam. He said it was great. He thought it was a solid film, so I cannot wait to see it. Tina, one of my Valkyries, she saw it early and really liked it also. I've got some early buzz going on the OMB Reviews website where I've had a few people that have confirmed with me they've seen the movie, and so they've submitted early ratings for it. And so I want to say right now it's still in the 80s. So it's getting well received, and I'm very, very excited for it. Very, very excited for it. Want to try and go see it opening night if I can. Been waiting, though. I haven't bought tickets yet because the last time I checked, there was no Dolby showing. And whenever there's a Dolby showing, I want to try to go to that, especially opening weekend. Vlad Riot says, wow, Odin has a nose. Just kidding. Oh, you're so funny. Oh, you're so funny. Nickel Noodles. So great to see you active in the chat. I feel like you're always just lurking around, man. Kazamal. Jimmy says, sent the meme on Twitter. Okay, let me see what this is. Thank you very much for sending me the meme. Accept. Oh, my goodness gracious. Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, that's wonderful. Alrighty. All right. So let's go ahead and, all right. That's the image. All right. I want you guys to be able to see it too. So let me just open up my Firefox browser since I know it's attached. Paste and go. Oh, that's great. What? Contains errors. This is madness. What is this nonsense? Copy image address. Let's try that. Copy image address. Paste and go. Hello? Hello? Oh, well. Well, I tried. I tried the very best that I could. Unfortunately, I could not share it, but that's pretty good. It's me in a car on the streets. And thank you very much, Jimmy, for sending me that way. Mr. Schiff says, in the show Death Note, when one of the fan favorite characters died, the show's fans became complete split. Yeah, exactly right. And also, I know Gary has talked about this a lot with his Doctor Who coverage. Again, eventually you're going to see drop-offs. When new doctors take over, when new actors take over, you see sometimes an uptick, sometimes you see a downfall. And so think of the MCU as a giant series. And this is the exit of major characters and the changing of major, changing of the guard, essentially. That guard has not really proven itself. If indeed the guard is going to be Brie Larson and Captain Marvel and all the other things that they have in the future planned, if that's the direction they want to go in, they should expect a massive drop-off. Regardless, because, again, Robert Downey Jr. makes the money. Let's see. Zlone Wolf says, there is a YouTuber called SC Reviews, and he had some leaks from a subscriber that the movie is on its way for a sequel. Go check out his video. I do like SC Reviews a lot, and I respect him very much as a person. Again, there's been no confirmation of this yet, though. Someone sent me a video, too, saying that they had talked to someone associated with the film, saying that the sequel is definitely going to happen. We don't have any official word yet, so I'm not going to go into conspiracies. I'm not going to go down that role before we have any actual official word. Roldy says, best to you and your family. Hope your search goes well. See you soon, Roldy. Well, thank you very much, man. Thank you again for that earlier super chat. It really does mean a lot, man. Mr. Schiff says, you really should play God of War 2018. It really shows what type of person you are. I keep hearing that, man. I just don't have time to game right now, especially right now. Super says, the movie is probably 3 hours because they needed to fix all the problems Captain Marvel made. Now, wouldn't that be something? No, I wouldn't want that because I don't want an hour dedicated to them trying to fix a character. I'd rather it be like 2.5 hours, 2 hours, 45 minutes of the main 6, and then Captain Marvel is just there to help. Like, everyone's pushing, and then she's there to kind of give it that last extra push. I would be fine with that. That would be okay. I would be fine with that. Mr. Schiff says, why in God's name is Marvel selling the Netflix properties? So, Mr. Schiff, the way that it's going with Netflix is that they're taking those properties off of Netflix because some of them, again, the more family-oriented ones, like all their Disney stuff, all that's going to go to their own Disney streaming service, so it's all going to be self-contained. And then all their adult stuff is going to go to Hulu, which they own 60% of a stake in. So they're not selling it out to anyone. They're actually maintaining it and holding on to it. They're just ending the deals with Netflix because now they're about to do their own things. John Early says, Netflix versus Hulu versus Disney Plus, dawn of the streaming channels. No, seriously. If you have not unplugged yet, what are you waiting for? I do YouTube, the YouTube TV streaming service. I, of course, have Netflix. We just started a new trial with Hulu because we want to see what this whole ads-free stuff is because we hate the ads. Disney Plus will probably be one that we end up getting. But, yeah. Tina says, getting the Alita pre-release info right now. So, yes, Tina is correct. You can pre-buy it on Amazon, but there's no date. So, you'll get it eventually is what Amazon's saying right now, but there is no official date last time I checked. A Glitch Gnome says, I think the delay on for Alita pre-order may have something to do with James Cameron and how particular he can be about the little things. Probably that as well. Super says, also wanted to ask your opinion on Disney probably closing down Fox 2000. It was the division that made Love, Simon, Hidden Figures, etc. Yeah, I was looking at it and everyone was saying like Fight Club, but then I was looking at the other movies and I thought, okay, that's just such a mixed bag. And honestly, at this point, to me, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think that it's just them reallocating funds and people and stuff. And at the end of the day, it was all still under the Fox umbrella. So even though it was its own independent studio head with its own name and, leaders, etc., I think that overall it's all consolidation at this point, trying to take all these properties and downsize. Gary talked about that this weekend in one of his podcasts. He talked about how you're seeing a shrinking in Hollywood. You're seeing them essentially have a downgrade, them having a, basically the shrinking of the market in Hollywood. And so a lot of them are going to freak out about it. Mr. Schiff says, going to see Shazam in Dolby Atmos, then Endgame in IMAX. I plan to see both in Dolby if I can. Super says, blog, Boots doesn't wear boots, instant trash. What? Kiko Rogers, good night, Odin and ladies. Kiko Rogers, you have a good night. Soul Assassin, Birth of a Monster is good. Watch it. Okay, I gotcha. Dan Maloney says, Birth of a Monster is a good movie. It captures the spirit of Star Wars. Cool. Someone send it my way, please, so I can watch it later on. Vladdy777 says, is Alita the last stylized 20th century Fox logo there will ever be, at least pre-Disney anyway, who might keep it up and do stupid things with it? I don't think they'll change it all that much because it is pretty iconic. So I think we'll still get the 20th Century Fox logo. As far as it custom and stylized to match the era in which it's taking place in, could be. Again, you never know. So it's definitely a possibility at this point. Grandmaster Yoda says, Alita is not in title film on way out on my cinema website yet, so good chance it will stay for 4 weeks more at least. Both Queen and Stars Born is still going on here and still is in the top 10 most seen. Grandmaster Yoda, that sounds good. What country you from, man? Where is that still happening? That's awesome. Air with the K says, let's try and troll Odin. His beard isn't beardy enough for him to be called Odin. I see what you're trying to do here.
It is beautiful.
Thank you, Freya. They're trying to get Odin from the streets to come out. That's what they want.
Dare let that beard get long.
I'm trying. I'm trying, Freya. I'm trying. Hey. Hey. Much love. Peace. All right. That was Freya. She did not appreciate your comment, Air with the K. The beard is amazing. Nemesis 8 says, Sweet Odin's Raven. And also the Hounds are with me now as well. Serval Surfer, Adam Warlock, Captain Woke, Doc Strange. I just saw a bunch of names there. Let's see. Eric Rhodes says, your Robert De Niro is so bad. Well, here's the thing, Eric Rhodes. I wasn't actually trying to do a full Robert De Niro. I was just quoting the movie, and I was doing a mixture of characters. So that was not my honest take on Robert De Niro. Just saying. All right? And even if I was, I don't do a Robert, I don't do a very good De Niro. Okay? I will give you that much. Oh, look. She's back. There she is. You see her? That's Willow. She's a sweetie. She's what many have dubbed to be the couch dog or the chair dog because she's always back there sleeping or doing something cute when she isn't fighting. It's a Trap Productions says, greetings, my lord. Falls over. I had to fight through traffic, pain, doctor's appointments, and pure aggravation, but your loyal court jester's here. Yes, indeed, everyone. Go check out It's a Trap Productions. Great YouTuber and really funny dude. Does some great voices also. Much better than mine. He could probably do a much better De Niro than I could. CB says, if you had to choose a badge for your cap, what would it be? A badge for your cap? I don't know. I don't know what that means exactly. Modern Dude Thing says, how's it going, my lord? How do I let you see my questions? Just like that. I've fixed the Odin. The Odin is fixed. Vlad Riot says, I'll try a language you understand. Your sister is effing... Okay. Gotcha, Vlad. Well, don't talk about her that way either, okay? All right? Nothing. We respect people here, all right? We respect people. All right? We respect them. Vlad, watch your mouth, you dirty mouth, man. Modern Dude Thing says, the Russos said they'll return to the MCU if they get Secret Wars. Really? I would love to see them get Secret Wars because they could do a lot of really good things with it. A lot of really good things with it. So excited. So very excited. All right, sorry, chat jumped on me again, so let me go ahead, and there we are. Nicolino says, Street Odin would make a great comic book hero, a regular white guy whose superpower is culturally misappropriating himself into an even whiter street stereotype. SJWs would lose their minds. Oh my gosh, send that over to EVS or someone else who writes comics. Make that comic happen. That would be hilarious. I would love to sign off an agreement to use my likeness for that. Super says, if Kevin Feige really has a brain, he will give the Russos whatever they want, because Infinity War was a huge undertaking. They'll probably want a break, but they should return. I agree. I really would like to see them return. Mr. Shift says, I want a bear like you, but I'm physically incapable of growing one. Guess I'll just glue on my face. Hey, dude, Mr. Shift just takes some time and patience. A-Bit Snakeboy says, hey-oh, what's going on? So glad to hear Alita hit 400 million. I'm keeping my fingers crossed for a sequel. I am as well. Enigma Seeker, give my Alita videos a shout out. Shout out to Enigma Seeker. Abbas Dyer says, how would you feel if the Russos did Captain Marvel 2? Oh, Outpost. You know how to ask those kind of questions. Well, basically, I would go in with at least an open mind, because as much as I don't like Captain Marvel, I do like the Russos, and if anyone could do that character any justice whatsoever, it would be the Russos. So I would at least give it my time. Not necessarily my money, but I would at least give it my time. I would be listening. Super says, Alice in Wonderland made $1 billion. How? I know, right? Great questions. Again, Captain Marvel's going to make $1 billion. How? Great questions. That one can be explained a little bit more in retrospect, though. Let's see. Ezekiel Pisano says, Odin, I found box office for Argentina odd. Captain Marvel makes $3.5 million, but here the dollar, it's too expensive. Sorry for my English. Yes, I don't exactly quite understand what the question is there. Sorry, man. Mr. Schiff says, most of the people working on Birds of Prey are extreme leftists. Big oof. Yeah, Birds of Prey was one I was already worried about from the beginning because it's got the same screenwriter that they got for Bumblebee. And if there's one thing I hate about Bumblebee, it was the writing. Pisano says, most people earn $500 to $750 a month. Yeah, I hear you. Yep. It's definitely not the glory days. It's people like, oh, man, you're making so much. It's like, Like, don't get me wrong, there's money being made, but a lot of it's being invested into the channel for better Wi-Fi connection, for better equipment, for the giveaways, for the P.O. box, for, God, so many other, and then also, again, none of it's taxed, which means that I have to take that into account as well. So, yeah, it's one of those things where you're like, yeah. 720p Odin is fine for me. He says it's a trap. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Mr. Schiff says, Zack Snyder does not understand Batman. Not at all. I heard that he apparently came out and doubled down on his defense saying, why Batman killed people and Batman v Superman. It's like, no, that's not what Batman does. And I will say this much. I feel for Zack Snyder and his family. I think that he absolutely deserves just respect for his desire and his passion. But that does not mean that I have to like his movies, and I cannot think of a single movie that Zack Snyder has made that I can go back and watch in 2019 and like as much as I did when I maybe first saw it. 300 used to be that movie. It has not aged well at all. And I think Zack Snyder is one of the most overrated film directors. I know there's a lot of Zack Snyder fans out there, and I respect you for your views. Not for me. He was the worst person to run the DCEU. He ran the DCU into the ground. And I'm worried that it's going to continue to get run into the ground because right now there is no leader. So at least you had a leader with him. He was putting it in a bad direction, but now there is no leader. Like officially, there is no Kevin Feige of the DCEU, for example, who's able to have this, this over-encompassing vision that's going to span several years. They need that right now. The DCEU needs that because otherwise Birds of Prey and movies like that are going to drive it down to the gutter by trying to delve into areas that they shouldn't. Abazar says, but Odin, you're not a giant blue avatar. That movie was not made for you. I know, right? It wasn't made for you, man. It was made for the giant blue Smurf creatures. Super says, introducing Captain Marvel literally 40 days before Endgame was horrible storytelling. They only introduced her now because I think they know she can't stand on her own. I think that's a good point. But as I said before, if that's what they really wanted to do, they could have brought her out in Endgame. They could have let the Russo brothers had a chance because guess what? The Russos have already said that they're going to make very clear she's not going to be OP in the movie. They're going to limit her. They're going to show that she has limitations, that she's not perfect. That's what we needed in the first movie. That's what we needed in Captain Marvel. We didn't get that, though. So if the Russos had a crack at Captain Marvel 1, I'm thinking we would have gotten a much better film, but also a very different film, too. Now it's at the point where it's like, oh, boy. The Magical Rescue, Avatar 2. Good God, man. Dude, Gary is the tops. Seriously, Gary Nerdrotic is so awesome, and I love him to death. He actually, at this point, he's like my favorite channel that I listen to, because obviously I watch and try and watch as many of the other channels as I possibly can, because I want to show support and love to all people. His, though, is the one that I've become like a major fan of. A major fan of. Seriously, like, again, I showed this the other day, just because I was like, this is not just me saying it. As you can see, the podcast that I have up right now from earlier, as you can tell from the glasses, is a Nerdrotic podcast. Like, that was what I was listening to on the way to work and on my way home from work as well. So I'm a huge fan of his. I love his work. We're supposed to try and get contacted this weekend because we're supposed to do a collaborative stream together. And I really hope that's able to get that worked out because, man, he's such a cool dude. He is such a cool dude. Mr. Peabody says, still haven't found a place to live. Do you think it would be too much to list Odin as a personal reference? If anyone doesn't understand, so basically there was someone who was contacting me on Twitter trying to get me to contact EVS because he thought that me and EVS were really close, when in reality, like, we've only been on stream maybe once together, and he's a really cool dude. Like, again, I love EVS, but we're definitely not acquaintances. I don't get to text him or anything like that. And so this guy was messaging me, and it wasn't just that. He was like, please send this to EVS. And it was not just like a message of love and everything. It was, help me sell my house. I was like, what? And so I ended up having to block him because I'm like, guy, the only messages you send me are these crazy conspiracy theorist things. And then on top of that, you're still trying to get me to send this reference to EVS to help you sell your house. Man, Darkstar says, by the way, I'm a Patreon supporter, but it's under my real name. Oh, okay. Speaking of that, I need to actually get that popped up for me really quickly. I'm not going to try and guess who you are, but I do need to get that list up anyway. So, also, let me double check. I just want to make sure I didn't have time to check beforehand. I don't think there are any new patrons, though. I don't think there are any new patrons yet. So let me just double check my list. Let me check my ledger. Just to make sure there are no more new extra patrons that I am forgetting about. No. Nope, all the same. All the same. But 2 messages, though. Who sent me messages? Someone said it's fine. Dude, I want to give a huge shout out first off to Jeffrey Toon. Jeffrey Toon can never be on these streams anymore because he lives in the UK and it's always really, really late when these streams go on. He is a part of the $10 tier. He's also been a supporter of the channel like since day one, since I started Patreon. He was one of the first patrons on there. And he's in the $10 tier, which comes with it a free t-shirt for at least the first month, because obviously I can't send t-shirts every single month because I would, you know, be completely bankrupt. But but even with that being the case, I've tried to say, like, even though he's in the UK, I'm like, dude, I want to send you a shirt because that is, you know, the tier that you're a part of. You've obviously, you know, you've put in the money month after month, and every time, like, he gets on Patreon maybe once a month, and it's always just like, nah, man, don't worry about it. And I'm just like, dude, let me send you something, because I don't even have his address or anything, so I can't even send him something if I wanted to. And so a huge shout out to Jeffrey Toon. If you're watching this later on, or if you're listening to this at all, man, seriously, you're awesome. And seriously though, also let me send you something. You've been awesome. Let's see, Jimmy, thank you. Vlad Riot says, Odin needs to fix his chat. He reads messages in mixed order. I don't read them in mixed order. So Vlad Riot, the way that it works is that I read it in the order that they are placed on screen. And so therefore, what I'm reading right now is probably from, let's see, can I get a timestamp on this? No. But the message that I'm reading right now is probably from like 30 minutes ago. So I'm reading it in order. I'm just not leaving them live, as I look at my dog to make sure she's not eating something important. No, she's just eating a sock. That's fine. Go ahead. You can keep eating that sock, sweetie. So it's not that I don't It's not that I don't read them in a mixed fashion. It's that I read them in the order in which they are showing up to me. Modern Dude Thing says, what movie do you think is better, The Dark Knight or The Empire Strikes Back? I'm going to go Dark Knight. And the only reason why is because I would rather watch The Dark Knight again than Empire Strikes Back again. Both are great films, but my quick answer would be Dark Knight. That would be one that I would actually like to sit on and just like kind of break down the pros and the cons, because I feel like you'll get responses for either one, but both are great films. Such a Neon says, of course it contains errors. It's a picture of Brie Larson. Of course. Santa spoiler, Anna. It's Odin in Alita. The ladder. Gabriel Alejandro Bandiela Rodriguez, love that name so much, says, the way you say madness makes me want to scream, this is Sparta, madness. Madness, folly, insanity. Little minds have belittled my dreams. Could I, would I, might it be the greatest triumph man has ever seen? If anyone can name that musical, you will get a prize. Don't Google it. Don't Google it. I'm not going to sing it again. But if anyone was just like, hey, I recognize that, if you can tell me what it is, I will send you a prize. It's very obscure. Very, very obscure. I'm a very obscure guy sometimes. Let's see. Mr. Schiff says, I can't wait for the Joker movie. It may be able to surpass Heath Ledger's performance, and I believe Matt Reeves can surpass the Nolan trilogy. Here's our 2 things about the Matt Reeves Joker film. 1, I think if anyone could at least match what Heath Ledger was able to do, it would be Joaquin Phoenix. I'm very, very, very excited with what he's going to be doing for that one. However, when it comes to Matt Reeves' movie, the fact that I heard, and again, there's nothing been confirmed yet, that they're playing around with a villain being a Trump-type person, really hope that's not true. Really, really hope that's not true. Really hope that they're not going to go in that direction, because if they can keep that just out of politics and just let it be focused on the Joaquin Phoenix performance and origin story, it could be awesome. So I'm excited for it, but with my, with reservations. Enigma Seeker says, have you seen my 2 videos on Alita? You need to check it out. It's deep. I have not, Enigma Seeker. There are a lot of things that I need to watch on a daily basis. Cobra Kaiser Soze says, I hear Superman makes an appearance in the end credits of Shazam who isn't Henry Cavill. Cobra, dude, what? I really hope that's not true, and I really hope that you're not spoiling something. So sorry if anyone, I'm not going to repeat it again, just in case anyone missed it, so please, no spoilers. For my people that saw it 2 weeks early, respect us. Again, if this was after opening weekend, trust me, I think that if you're not seeing something opening weekend, you don't have a right to be freed from spoilers. But you got to see it 2 weeks early, man. That's, no. Let's keep that stuff out of here, please. Stevie says, savior of the universe. White Crow says, you need an eye patch for your persona, probably at some point. If you send me one, I'll probably wear it. Super says, as long as Thanos gives Captain Marvel the smackdown at least once, I'll be happy. Yes, that'd be fantastic. That'd be awesome. Jeremy Overlord, oh man, the Overlord is here. Even though I am your fandom menace Overlord, I love Alita. There, I said it. Oh gosh, they've already made a Jeremy Overlord. That was seriously just like, I guess at this point, an hour and 10 minutes ago. But when I had started, when I was on the other stream, he was called Overlord. So someone's already made that. Gosh, that's crazy. Tina says, no, Odin from the streets. Odin from the streets. Man, Couch Puppy's back. Oh, man, this is how backed up I am. Sticky V says, thank you, Freya, for sharing yourself with us. Oh, yes. She's awesome. I love Freya. Gannison, Alita Troll. What's going on, Alita Troll? Gannison is my boy. I love Gannison, man. He is the one that, again, I will say it every time, showed me the way, showed me the light so that I could finally go to see Alita. And I'm so thankful that he pointed me in that direction. Interstrap Production says, I could give De Niro a try, me lord. You should. And send it to me. Enigma Seeker says, have you seen my reviews? Enigma Seeker, I don't mind shouting people out, but if every comment is going to be, have you seen this? Have you seen that? Come on, man. Come on, man. So one last time, Enigma Seeker, if you are interested in deep reviews on Alita, if you love Alita content, Enigma Seeker. Sean C says, still no pre-order links for Alita on 4K Blu-ray. Does Disney's acquisition of Fox have anything to do with this? I mentioned this a little bit earlier. I would say the acquisition, if it had any impact, is that it slowed things down just because of all the chaos going on, but I don't think that they're holding it back on purpose. So, and also, they don't always get those dates out as fast as possible. Certain movies they do, others they don't. I would not be surprised if it's kind of a mixture of the two, where they already weren't going to have it released as far as like a date's concerned. And also on top of that, there's probably a reason behind the scenes as to what's going on. That's not them trying to hold it back. That's what I would think. Rhaegar Targaryen says, there are dozens of movie Easter references. There are dozens of movie references and Easter eggs in Us. Really? I really want to see Us. I heard it was great. I had some kids talking about it today, and I was like, please do not spoil it for me. And the fact that they said, yeah, it's not really scary, it's more of a thriller, makes me go, Super says, the Boots comment was about Dora. Oh, and with Fox 2000, it seems like without it, all Fox has big franchises like Disney, and seeing the maybe death of original content makes me sad. Yeah, seriously. Stevie V says, I meant a round metallic thing that with maybe some kind of text on for your hat, cap, whatever you call it. Round metallic thing? Really? I don't know if I would ever want to put anything on my hat. I kind of like the way it is. It does have a label on the back because this is actually, I'm a huge wrestling fan if you don't know, and this is Sami Zayn. So this is actually a Sami Zayn flap cap. So if you're a wrestling fan, you'll be like, oh wait, that is the flat cap he used to wear. Big Sami Zayn fan. So sad that he's been injured for so long. Hope he comes back soon though. Dan Maloney says, sent you the link on Twitter for Birth of a Monster. Thank you, Dan Maloney. Seriously, dude. Appreciate it, man. And how excited are you for King of the Monsters? I am very excited, but as I said, I'm also very reserved because I hope they have not just let everything out in the trailer. I hope there are still some images, some fights, some things that we don't know about that have not been revealed, because if there's anything that I like, it's to be surprised pleasantly. So I'm looking into it. Very, very excited. I'm looking forward to it, rather. Super says, darn it, the Russos could make Secret Wars, but they're going to have to change it now because of what Captain Marvel did with the Skrulls. And yeah, I've heard some people, because basically you now have these people coming out trying to say, oh, well, technically they don't, because just because this one group of Skrulls was good doesn't mean that all of the Skrulls are good, and so they could still technically do Secret War down the line. I would say yes to that, changing canon, because Captain Marvel made it pretty clear that the Kree and the Skrulls as races have been in this battle, and that the Kree were, you know, demeaning and driving out the entire Skrull population out, you know, and it was obviously it was a commentary on, unfortunately, it was a commentary on immigration itself. And so I look to that and I think to myself, okay, so they already made it very clear that no, all Skrulls are good, is what we were told in Captain Marvel, at least based on what Captain Marvel has expressed so far. But if anyone could change canon and do it well, the Russos would be the one to do it. CV says, think Odin is cute? Hit that like button. Yeah, let's get up. Where are we at? We're at 121 people watching. Maybe that's delayed. 114 people watching. Let's make sure we get at least 114 likes just to show how cute I am. Why not? Gannis says, if Russo brothers make X-Men movie, it would be awesome. Good God, dude. Good God. You're right. Russo brothers. Here's what you do. Oh my gosh. Brilliant idea. Disney, you can take this for free. Kevin Feige continues the MCU. Even though they're now a part of the MCU, you keep the X-Men separate. Think of it as like a comic book. They're not going to do it this way, but they should. You have the MCU, films and properties and characters as they are right now. You create a new timeline within the MCU, but the X-Men. You have X-Men movies, Fantastic Four films, and then you do crossover events. Think about how brilliant that would be. You have the Avengers and the X-Men and Fantastic Four all working together for some big bad. Again, you could build it up so many different ways. But if you do that, guess what you can then do? You can take the Russo brothers, and instead of them just being directors and writers, now they're the producers, and now they become the Kevin Feige of the X-Men world. Could you imagine an X-Men universe built within the side of the MCU by the Russo brothers? I want to see that. I would, you know, those are movies that I would continue to go see. But unfortunately, it doesn't look like they're going to do that, because they're going to try to make everything a part of the one new MCU. And I don't know. But God, that got to Gannis, and that has me so excited. Seriously, think about it. A Russo brothers run X-Men universe that is also a part of the MCU and therefore can have crossover events. God, that'd be so good. Synaptic Flow, don't worry, I did not forget your super chat. Thank you once again for that super chat, Synaptic Flow, who says, a YouTuber said our boycotts videos won't work because how loud we are about it. Said silently boycotting, giving no attention to Disney is better. So I think there's pros and cons to both, because if you're quiet about it, then you're allowing the stories and everything else to go unchecked. And I'm not okay with that. Again, for me, I want to call this nonsense out. I want to be honest with you guys. I want to say, hey, this is not cool. This is not true. Let me pull apart these arguments. On the same side of things, for you to ignore something oftentimes leads to it eventually fading away. The reason why this, I think, is more true on the being louder about it aspect of it is because this is a major studio, and so if they're ignored, to them it says, oh, we can keep on doing this, and they're never going to stop. So it's kind of like in a lose-lose situation, unfortunately. Evo says, Batman killed so many people in the Tim Burton films. Did he kill people in the Tim Burton films? I don't remember that. It's been a while, but I don't remember him actually killing people. Mr. Jeff says, favorite line from a Christian film, what's wrong, boys? Smell water? What? Tina says, I don't care if it's aged well or not. Hunky Spartans. Well, that's just your toxic femininity coming out to play, Tina. Rhaegar Targaryen says, Batman refusing to kill people is an annoying trope. Yeah, but I like it. It reminds me of the comic book days. And again, by comic book days, I mean the animated series, which I freaking loved. Super says, Batman is violent and he allows for death, but he himself does not and will never kill. Sorry, Snyder, but nah. Yeah, again, violence, torture, those types of things fit within the Batman profile. Killing is normally not. Mary Vidalis Mayhem, what's going on? You were not the first super chat tonight, which is a rarity for you, but glad to have you here. Big Sleepy Ox, welcome back, says Odin still thinks he knows better than Feige how to make a cinematic universe. Based on the direction they seem to be wanting to go, absolutely. Talk to the people who thought, oh, look, we made a $1 billion film with, Alice in Wonderland. Oh my gosh, we have it made. And then lost money on the next film. Yeah, absolutely. Again, I think Kevin Feige's done a great job to this point. I would never have been able to do the job that Kevin Feige has done. But now that this era and this saga are over, I'm starting to doubt whether or not he could continue it on. Again, you have 22 films in 10 years. That is plenty. That is plenty. And how he handles the transition into the next step is going to speak volumes as to where the MCU goes from here. Mr. Schiff says, your voice acting is perfect for a bootleg straight-to-DVD with child actors Christian film. That was a compliment, by the way, I think. I'm offended by that. Super says, Captain Marvel really doesn't make any sense at the moment. The only help she can provide in Endgame is that she can handle the Infinity Stones without serious harm. Yeah, and I'm just not looking forward to that. I really hope that they keep her again. As I said in my video, I want them to limit her. They don't have to deny her completely, but at least put some limitations. And I think the Russos will do that. They've already made it clear that they don't just want some OP person coming in and winning, because they know that would be boring. And I know I and many others would agree. Give us some nuance. Stevie V says, I really think Avatar sequels just took too long. Interest has faded, and the franchise will make it past and third movie. 7 sequels just ridiculous. Yeah, me too. I'm done. I was done after the first one immediately. As soon as they announced everything else, I'm like, no, stop it, please. If Boy says, O's channel, I don't have those powers over there, unfortunately. Okay, whatever that's about. Shiv says, is it Walter the Kevin of the DCEU? DCEU, not in the same capacity. Not in the same capacity. And if he is, I mean, Walter Hamada, people are saying, what has he said about the DCEU? Because if he's running it too, then what is he doing? Like, there's just, right now I'm looking at the DCEU and I have, Aquaman that came out recently, Shazam, I see connections there. But then what's next? Birds of Prey, which is now a spin-off of Suicide Squad, which has been said to no longer, which is now going to get a reboot. And so basically the DCU is a hot mess. So I'm not saying there's someone that's not in charge, but that's not the same as there being a Kevin Feige of the DCEU, meaning someone who actually has a forward-thinking vision and that can build a coalition of over 20 films to lead to an ultimate event. They need that over there. 70B says, our patrons are wonderful. They truly are. And it's not the end of the stream yet. So don't get on me on that, Steph. All right. I've decided to just dedicate that to the end of the streams just to keep it easier on me and not to break up any of the flow. All right. That's the reason why I've started to do it that way. Grandmaster Yoda says, to response, I live in Norway. When I saw Alita for 5 times in 4 days, Go was still half full and her China shows it to the 21st of April. My town pushed movies, if somehow up. Alita has earned never min. Okay, that didn't make any sense, but I understand the basic premise. So you're in Norway. It's doing very well there. It's also obviously still playing in China, so definitely can still make money. Yeah, I missed every tune too. Gannison says, fingers crossed on illegal sequels. Yes. Trap Production says, here at my stamp, here's my stamp, lord. My timestamp, my lord. 6:17 Pacific Standard Time, 8:17 for me. So that means I'm about 15 minutes behind. Sounds about right. Sounds about right for me to be 15 minutes behind. Rhaegar Targaryen says, Dark Knight vs. Empire Strikes Back is an unfair contest. I agree. If not for multiple protagonists alone, also different genres and different eras. Boom, dude, you got it, man. That's why if you had to make me choose just a random one, that's what I would be. Synaptic Flow says, this person is on our side, just thinks we are going about it the wrong way, thinks we are turning off the people we are trying to convince and making a support Disney backlash. I do, Synaptic Flow, believe that there are a contingent of people, or at least a contingent of videos that are doing that. But those are the videos that are going more into conspiracy territory and not staying grounded in reality. I think that calling out Rotten Tomatoes for deleting reviews, calling out the media for protecting Captain Marvel, those are things that I think we should be fighting. But if we're going to dive down rabbit holes of tickets being bought up by Disney and the numbers being conflated and not being real and not having any actual evidence to stand on when there are other ways to explain these anomalies that we're seeing, that I think is what's going to turn people off. And I will agree. If we're going to go down the conspiracy road and that's where we're going to go, it's better just to stop. Because if you know anything about conspiracies, once you go down the hole, it's sometimes very hard to get back out again. So I agree with it to an extent, but I think that there has to be very clear, a clear difference between trying to support something, trying to rather get the truth out there versus trying to push, conspiracies. Modern Dude says, what is it about the Dark Knight trilogy that you love so much? No, screw you, Modern Dude. That's right. You're the one that does not like Dark Knight. Dark Knight's great. So I'm skipping your comment. How dare you? How dare you continue to peddle your lies? Your damn dirty lies. Oh, this chat. Nigga says, right on, man. Who are these people that get angry when you spoil a movie that came out months previously? Oh, seriously, Nigga Noodles, they're out there, man. It's so funny. But again, even if it's someone like a week later, if they're like, oh, spoilers, man, I'm like, it's been out for a week. Go see it. If you care that much to not know spoilers, you will see it opening weekend. That's my thought process. To me, you are unprotected from spoilers after opening weekend. But yeah, 2 weeks out when you have like the first showings, stop. Do not spoil it for anyone. Gannison says, Shazam is more fun than Captain Marvel. Great to hear, Gannison. Cannot wait to see it. Squids McCracken, gotta take my mom to lunch. Enjoy your shows when I can. Odin Wolf Squids McCracken. I love that name. Thank you very much, man. Thank you for the support. Gwen says, my big ass mastiff and I got 2 Basset Hound mutt puppies. Oh my gosh, Gwen. That's so cute. Yeah, I've got my mutts here. So she is a German Shepherd mutt. Her name is Willow. And she is amazing. And she, look at that. There she goes. That's why the channel loves her. And she's not in frame right now. But let me go ahead and fix that for you guys. Ooh, sorry. Hold on 1 second, guys. Let's get the little swivel going. Oh, wait, it doesn't do that? Oh, no. Oh, wait, but the screen does. There we go. Now she's in full view. There she is. There's the couch pup. Yeah, that's Willow. She likes to be there a lot, and it's just so funny because she's always like, everyone's saying, oh my gosh, look at the puppy. She is quite adorable. But yeah, she's a German Shepherd mix. And then River, my other dog, my black dog, she is a Australian Shepherd and I believe Lab mix. And they're both awesome and adorable. And I love them. Mario Days, have you heard the rumors that they might make a live-action Dora the Explorer film? Didn't a trailer just drop for that? That's what everyone was saying. Ganza says, show us your movie collection. One day, dude, for sure. I know that I put this on my secondary channel, Welcome to Asgard, and one that actually got a lot of votes was Blu-ray collection videos. So definitely in the future, when I finally have time and when craziness has finally died down, I'll do a Blu-ray collection. I will go through every single Blu-ray that I own and try and talk about it. And God, there's so many Blu-rays that I've bought thinking I'm going to buy this, or rather, I'm going to watch this one day. I'm going to be so excited, and I've never seen it. Cannot wait to go through those. Because I really want to reorganize. I think that I want to at some point get a new shelf so I can fit them all too and have room to grow. So yeah, definitely going to do that at some point though. Definitely going to do that at some point. Let's see. John Early says, Wonder Woman's origin film had the message of love conquers all. Dude, Wonder Woman, again, if we're talking about the DCU ones, great. Again, I'm actually really looking forward to Shazam because based on the reviews I'm hearing, this sounds like the first like near perfect DC film where it's not only making like, fans happy, but it's also making audiences happy. And it's a movie that I can finally be like, I love this movie. Don't get me wrong. Aquaman was a lot of fun. I still gave it a C+ though, because technically speaking, there's still a lot of issues. I go back to Wonder Woman. Really liked Wonder Woman, but overall still kind of a B-level movie for me. If Shazam can be that first A-level movie for me, I will be pumped. I will be excited. And it sounds just like based on everything else that I've been hearing, that's going to be the case. Gabriel Munez says, Odin straight from the streets. Oh, you know it. Oh, you know it. Tina says, Batman Michael Keaton blew up the Joker's factory and there were people in there. Really? I guess I just never realized that before. Evo says, Tim Burton Batman for the next movie night. We can count the kills together if you like, says Evo. Maybe, man. And again, we will definitely get a movie night going very, very soon. I will do the very best that I can. Also, guys, just for a heads up, this Saturday, I have something planned for the evening. And so the plan right now is to do an earlier Saturday stream, which I know my UK people are going to be like, thank God. But an earlier stream on Saturday, I will let you guys know, but I will not be available Saturday evening. I have a prior engagement that is very important to Freya and also to me, and so that will be taking precedence. But again, we will have a stream next weekend. Probably won't have a movie stream, though. That will happen soon, though. We'll have votes and everything, just like the old days. We will bring it back and to a once-a-month format. I think we might just start that fresh in April. Vlad Riot says, all right, I'm out before Odin sees my not-so-nice message to the one he's smart-ass followers. Have a good evening. Oh, Vlad Riot, what are you doing, man? Gosh. Gannison says, that Harry Potter guy might be playing as Wolverine. Nope. That happens. If that happens, no, not watching it. Mr. Chip says, if you ever read a Batman comic book, I recommend you read Batman The Long Halloween, Batman Year One. Those have always been recommended to me. I want to say I started The Long Halloween and I liked it. It's just very hard for me to get into comics because I'm just not much of a reader. I do audiobooks, I do podcasts, I do film. Like, those are the things and the ways that I engage with and take in information. When it comes to things on the actual page itself, because of my ADD, it's just there's a struggle for me to kind of like connect to it. And so I'm hoping to be able to get that kind of, that kind of thing addressed. I'm taking various things to try and, get myself focused back on, because I do actually, I've been diagnosed ADHD since I was 4. So I've been struggling with it a long time. There's been times in my life I haven't needed it. There's been times in my life that I have needed medication and various other things. So, I'm in the process of trying to work on those things. And if I one day could sit down and read a book and just be able to dive into it, I'd be so happy. Seriously. Like, it would be awesome. It would be so awesome. Sticky V says, like YouTube buffering the stream while Odin reacts to my comment. Seriously, Aw, Sticky V, I'm so sorry to hear that. So sorry to hear that. Super says, Disney and Feige made the MCU, but they also let Marvel change out all major characters, alienated their core audience, and are planning to adapt them. Yeah, absolutely. As I said, we now see a clear difference. There is now a battle waging between the Marvel comics, the hardcore fans, and the popcorn fans, the normies, as Nerdratic, Gary loves to call them, which I think is a perfect name for them, because the same thing happened within the comics industry too. And I think that you can look at the comics industry and see as a kind of a microcosm of what the MCU eventually is going to be. It's going to take a little bit longer because you have a much larger audience with the MCU, and also because so many of them don't really know anything about the comics and don't really know anything about some of the behind-the-scenes stuff. It's going to take them a little bit longer to understand and to get the idea. Entertainment Hacker, thank you very much for that donation, man. Seriously. No message there, but I know that you support the channel. You are a patron as well, so thank you so much. Appreciate that. Baptist702, wow, thank you very much for that super chat. Love your commentary, and God bless you, fellow Christian. Since X-Men and Fantastic Four are home, do you think their movies will be influenced by SJW politics or old-fashioned storytelling? Well, first off, Baptist702, thank you very much. Seriously, for that message. God bless you. Again, always great to have that kind of love, and seriously, thank you so much. And I really do hope, really do hope that everything is going well for you and for everyone watching this chat. Seriously, you don't have to be a Christian for me to love you, but I of course really do appreciate that as well, my Christian brother or sister. As far as X-Men and Fantastic Four, that is the #1 question. Seriously, that is the #1 question. Where are those movies going to fall? As I mentioned in my kind of like fantasy booking, if somehow, some way the Russos were put in charge of the X-Men universe and rebuilding it, I think it would be good old-fashioned storytelling. But if we are to believe Kevin Feige at his word, and that word is that the future of the MCU is going to be more things like Captain Marvel and diversity. Again, diversity itself is not a bad thing, but when diversity becomes your platform, that is a problem, because at that point you are saying clearly you care more about pushing diversity than about storytelling, and when diversity takes the place of storytelling, that leads to problems, because then good stories, good characters, good arcs get sacrificed in order to be woke, in order to convey certain characters in a certain way. So I honestly don't know which direction it's going to go. I hope and I pray they keep these things separate and have, massive culminating events, kind of like with the comics. They could do that now with the MCU. Seriously, they could have different branches of the MCU. Some people might say, oh, they already have that with the different film franchises. But no, think about it. X-Men has been kind of in its own universe for a long time. Keep it in its own universe and then have this giant crossover event. I'm telling you, that would be awesome. That would be so freaking awesome. But Baptist, thank you very much for that super chat. Really do appreciate it a lot. Dan Maloney says, DCU needs to be rebooted completely. They are hoping the Flash movie can do that. If the Flash movie's even on. Apparently, they've gone on record. Some people have gone on record. Some article said that they are, fine with replacing Ezra Miller, who is the Flash currently. So there seem to be a lot of problems with the DC. As great as the DCEU is doing right now with Aquaman and what seems to be Shazam. Shazam is going to be a $600 million film, I think. I think it's going to make a lot of money. Again, I'll know more about how much money it'll actually make after at least the first or second weekend, but I think it's going to do well. It's got a lot of great buzz from, the critics and also audiences, and as we know, audience reception is a lot, word of mouth is a lot, and it's coming off the heels of the first ever DC film to break the $1 billion. DCEU film, sorry, more specifically. Nolan, DCEU film to break the $1 billion with Aquaman. So we could see Shazam following in that trend, and I hope that we do. I really hope that we do. JJ says, Feige has a ace in his pocket. If Brie starts to crash the MCU, he will shift Fantastic Four into the spotlight. Hey, man, if that happens and he is able to stay focused and to tell good stories, I'm down. CJ, man, Odin's chats are way behind. Those messages are like 40 minutes ago. I know. Welcome to an Odin chat. This is, again, my life. This is what happens when I fix the Odin bucket. I need to make the name complicated again, because then I'm not going to read any comments. That's what I need to do. All right. Let's see. Grandmaster Yoda says, It's just too few words you can post in chat on YouTube. Need to short down on something, but you got my point on. All right, Grandmaster Yoda, thank you, man. Also got super chat. Darkstar57, thank you very much for the super chat. Says, hopefully the SJWs get bored with messing with our movies and move to another victim, RJH. Well, thank you very much for that. Really do appreciate it, and I do too. I do as well. Really hope that they, and now I know who you are, so thank you for revealing your secret identity. And also, if you want to be known by something that's not your real name, Darkstar, in fact, don't super chat unless you want to, but let me know in the chat if you want me to say your name at the end when I do my patrons list as RJH or as Darkstar57. Because if you want, I can change it on my sheet right now, and then that way I'll know to do that in the future. Because I know some people don't want to be known by their full names, so just let me know, okay? Mitchell Schiff says, Batman not killing is one of the key aspects of the Batman character. Red Hood literally exists because Batman refused to kill the Joker. Thank you very much, man. Again, my understanding of the comics industry is very limited, but I did watch a lot of Batman animated series, and all of my friends who read comics, like seriously, like every month they would go and pick up their, however many comics they had bought. I mean, those are the friends that I had. They said, oh, dude, Batman then pretty well because those were very faithful to the comics. So that's why whenever I see this happen, I'm like, this is just not the comic. This is just not the Batman that I know. But Darkstar, thank you very much, man. Yeah, I hope they move on too. I hope they move on as well. Enigma Seeker says, shut up and watch my Alita videos. Maybe. Puppy. Super says, do you think YouTube changed its search algorithm to protect Captain Marvel? Well, here's the thing. They definitely changed their algorithm. We know this as a fact. It was covered by various sources. Now, they did not silence any of those other voices, though. What they did was they changed the algorithm so that when you searched in Brie Larson or Captain Marvel, the first things that you find in your search results are, MSNBC, Vox, these so-called mainstream media sites, these so-called trustworthy news organizations. But if you keep scrolling down, you'd find the John Talks and the Geeks and Gamers and all those videos. So all those other videos were still there. So it's not like they got rid of them altogether. They did just change the algorithm so that the first things, the priority was given to these so-called real news agencies. Enigma Seeker says, Odin, is that... Don't call her that. How dare you? How dare you? She is a lady, I say. Soul Assassin says, don't know how far in the Star Wars books you are, but check out Shadows of the Empire. It's the perfect sequel to the Empire. So this is where I am in the EU novels. I've read the original Thrawn trilogy. I'm currently in book 2 of the Thrawn duology, which is Visions of the Future, so I'm about halfway through that book. I've also read Outbound Flight. So those are the EU books that I've read so far. Gotta love the pups, always. Geddison says, if you like cyberpunk movies, I dare you to play Cyberpunk 2077, which is coming out next year. The same people made Witcher games. I'm not much of a gamer, man. Modern News says, ouch, I simply wanted to say that Dark Knight has some of the weakest villains I've seen in cinema. They have now no Modern Dude thing. I'm just going to keep on trash talking this movie. Okay, man, I love you. I love you, man. Slasher Neon says, 2 shepherds but no sheep to chase. Small wonder they lounge about all day. Poor things. Yeah, I know. They're both of the shepherd breed, and especially River. So much energy in her because, again, she's that Australian shepherd, and she's got also like this like red tint over the years. It used to be so red when she was a puppy. It was the cutest thing ever. I'll have to share some of the cute. Maybe that's something I'll do for my patrons. I'll start posting some like old pictures of the pups when they were actual puppies. I have this beautiful one of River as just a puppy, and we had gotten this gigantic kennel because we were told, oh yeah, she'll be to a certain size, and she just never made it. She's like the short one she was definitely the runt of the litter, unfortunately, which is really funny. But you see her as a puppy in this giant kennel, and it's just so funny because she's sitting looking there. She's all tiny. I'll have to start doing that. I'll just try and find those, and I'll post those over to the Patreon. Nickel Noodle says, last year at work, a guy got mad at me because he overheard me say Luke died in Last Jedi. I said, hey man, did you not see The Force Awakens? And he said, not yet. Conversation over. What? Oh, get over it, man. If you have not chosen to see it, you have no right. You have no right. No right. Sticky V says, Wonder Woman could beat the S out of Captain Marvel. OP versus character. OP will always lose. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I would love to see that. Because in real life, too, Gal Gadot, having served in the Israeli military, could whoop Brie Larson's I'm pampered and had a music career and, oh my gosh, everything in my life has always been given to me, could whip her butt. Every day, every time. Adam Eller says, what is your subjective on Us? Worth the money to go see. Not seen it yet. Want to go see it. Want to. Can't stop. Won't stop. Planning on seeing it as soon as I possibly can this week, so that way it does not get spoiled for me, because that one has come out this weekend, so it is indeed on me. If I hear spoilers, I'll be upset, but I'll be like, no, that was on me, because if I really cared all that much, I would have seen it opening weekend. Super says, will you be doing a Game of Thrones stream? Maybe. Might do that. I know other channels do, so I might just join on with them instead. Mary says, I have ADHD as well. The struggle is real, man. No, it is. Especially when you live in a world where so many people for so long were overdiagnosed or misdiagnosed, and now people think it's not real when it is real, and then all of us that actually are struggling with it are here like, well, it's real, man. That, I mean, to deny it is like your opinion, dude. It's tough. Tina says, Odin, when you have time for Saturday, give Steph and me a heads up because Heimdall might be handling things for you. No problem at all, Tina. No problem at all. Seriously. Ever since we figured out the cookie stuff, y'all are good. And as long as I can get at least maybe Frank or Greta or someone in there, and again, I can always deputize somebody. Pindrop's here. Pindrop, where have you been? Pindrop is here, guys. And is not saying anything to me. Pindrop is going to stop by and not put my name in so that I can see your messages. What is going on? Dude, it's been so long. Pindrop, I was looking up old Super Chats, and dude, like, you just disappeared, man, but glad to have you back. And, but no, don't worry about that. I can deputize someone if I need to keep an eye on the chat, just to make sure that no one gets trolled. Zen says, to be fair, the only reason Nolan's Batman didn't kill people is because the cars he blew up in Dark Knight were conveniently empty. That is a fair point. That is a fair point. So again, you can make fair points, and you can be critical, but you don't have to be a tool about it. Tina says, I heard some guys walking through the lobby of the theater I saw Shazam at, and the one guy was saying, well, that was a waste of my movie Saturday. I laughed and muttered to myself, Normie! Tina, yes! Oh my gosh, I could totally see Tina. Tina is so great, guys, seriously. Like, she and Steph are just so lively, and our conversations are always just great. I miss. Sonny B says, Odin, our patrons are wonderful. We're almost ending. Don't worry. I got it literally up on my screen. It's staring me in the face so that I would not forget. But I will be ending the stream soon, guys, so I might be skipping chats in a second. I'll try and read as many as I can. Levi says, keep your hand down. If Smeagol sees that ring, he will never leave you alone and call you the precious. You're precious. His annoying voice all the time. My precious. Stupid fat hobbitses. Gollum. Gollum. I do love the Gollum voice. Gollum voice is fun. The Gollum voice is fun, and that was a lot of chats. I tell you, the only cure for my fever is more cowbell. Super says, not really attached to the Fantastic Four, but I grew up with and love Fox X-Men. I love when they did with it. The MCU getting hold of them worries me. Feige never takes risks, in my opinion. Fair point. I never watched the original X-Men cartoon, not gonna lie. I've heard great things about it, just never have. Fantastic Four, my only knowledge of are the 3 movies that they've made, and based on the fact that there are so many people that love that franchise and that universe, I really want to get a good Fantastic Four series for once. That'd be great. Especially something that's not fan-foristic. Hybrid says, hi there, my brother. Happy to see you on. Looks like the Russos aren't shying away from the 182 minutes. 3 hours and 2 minutes. Pretty awesome. I'm excited. I love long movies, especially ones that are good. Darkstar says, Darkstar, you should have just... Okay, I saw that, luckily, but you should have just commented my name. Otherwise, I would not have seen it. But I'm going to put that next to you. So, RJH, Darkstar, what was it again? 57. All right. So, I'm going to put that in my ledger. And then I'll put your name in brackets just that way I know it's you. And you'll be known from that as that from this point forward. You can also go on Patreon and change it manually. Because you can change it to a nickname if you don't want your actual name to be exposed. But also your name has indeed been said on previous live streams, but it's too late for that. Soul Assassin says, the anime DC movies are awesome to watch. I've heard about that. There's just so many of them. Zach Gregg says, hey, hello to the Valkyrie. What's up, Zach? Slicer Neon says, you have to read the X-Wing series, my all-time favorite Star Wars. Very cool. There's so many things I need to read. Peabody says, putting you down as a reference for rent application, just checking the details, name, Odin, address, Asgard, phone, buy pros. Is that right? Yes, Peabody, you got it right, man. And if you need me to help you sell a house, man, I got you. I got you taken care of. Jock Early says, Cinematic Wonder Woman is just this amazing looking Greek goddess. Great casting, Zack Snyder. Yes, Wonder Woman was so great. Gal Gadot was perfect. 115 likes. Thank you, guys. Guinness says, which Predator movie you like? I saw the first Predator film for the first time, a couple months ago at this point. Awesome. Great film. And other than the newer one, those are the only 2 I've seen. Original is better. I overall personally like the new one because I thought it was funny. It was a Shane Black movie, not a Predator film, and going in knowing that, I think I was able to enjoy it better. Peabody says, you want spoilers on Glass? It sucked. Oh, I liked Glass. I actually liked it. 221 says, Odin, would you agree that Brie is the Raymond Rogue of superhero movies? I don't know who that is. Damley says, us ADD folk have to stick together. First bump, brother. Fist bump, brother. Damn right. Pin drop. Hello, pin drop. There you are. I found you, pin drop. You were hiding in plain sight, but I found you. Steph says, and then they will be deputied. Dimagina, what's going on, bro? Gannison says, did you know that James Cameron had an influence on the Predator face? Really? I want to say I heard that somewhere. Dimagina, super pumped for Alita to cross 400 million. Yes, indeed. So very excited indeed. Rhaegar Targaryen says, who did it worse? Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man or Ezra Miller as the Flash? I actually liked Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man because I like Andrew Garfield as an actor. And Ezra Miller is okay as the Flash. He's fine. So I don't think any of them messed up anything like too much, but that's just me. And Tina says, Odin is doing an early stream on Saturday due to something else. Thank you for letting her know that. All right, cool. So now, don't worry, Steph. Now to give a shout out to my patrons before we end this bad boy. A Grey Jedi, Adam Shawhan, Albertus Magnus, Aman Yosef Marcos, Delete System 32, Dion, Edward Coleman, Enrique Evangelista, Entertainment Hacker, Frank the Tank and the Shawhan Wiener Dog Clan, Harold Francis, the Hunka Chunky, Funky Monkey, Inflamed Wood, Intertrap Productions, Jason Clark, Jeffrey Toon, Jonathan Jerembeck, Laura Story, Matthew Kadish, Mr. Peabody and his evil twin, Outpost Dyer, Perpetual Perpetual Punster, Projar Sarif, Proper Jeremy, Darkstar 57, got you down, Shenglong, Sir Lance Lato, Theodora, the K-Man, the DJD Show, those two ball guys, Tina B, and Wolfgang Lounge. You're all amazing and beautiful people, and thank you, Lethal Lightning, for that super chat. Hello from the Upside Down, unfortunate work. Lethal, you're always working, man. Always working for the weekend. Lethal's also another great channel. Go give him some love. Frank, thank you. Nickel Noodles, you have a good night. Super, you have a good night as well. Hyperin, quick question. Who suffers more, Frodo from Lord of the Rings or Will Byers from Stranger Things? Ooh. Well, I would go with Frodo because we don't see it, but Frodo had to walk a very, very long distance on top of everything else that we saw. So Frodo. I would say Frodo suffers more. Ganson says, take care. You take care as well, my friend. Seriously, thank you, Peabody. Night Odin, thanks for the reference. No problem at all, man. I got you. Take care of Cheyenne. That's because Lethal Leiden is a male stripper. Pretty much is. Every time he's on a stream, he's in a bathrobe. So what else am I supposed to get from that, Lethal? You're in a bathrobe all the time. You're drinking all the time. I mean, what else am I supposed to think? Hybrid, thank you very much for the chat. Guys, seriously, you're all amazing, beautiful people. Let's give some love to the Valkyrie, to Tina and Steph. They are awesome. They are amazing. Join us again tomorrow for the one-man low council. Again, that should be closer to our normal time, 6:30. I will let you, of course, you guys know on the Twitters and anywhere else that I can when I create the event, if it's going to be earlier or later, but it should be early, so that way we can give some time for the High Council, and cannot wait to see you then. Also, remember, Saturday's stream is going to be an early one because of a prior commitment, and I will get the time to you guys when I can. Sunday, though, 12:30 Central Standard Time, there will be a Patreon stream featuring Laura Rhinestone, my fanfiction story, and Outpost Dyer, celebrating Outpost Dyer's birthday, and also him, Kyle's book release too, so cannot wait for that. 8-Bit Snake Boy, you have a good night. Thank you so much for listening. Also, if you want to listen back to this, or if you know other people that missed the stream and want to watch it, this will be available on the Welcome to Asgard channel in full. You can also, of course, leave this link because it'll be unlisted, but you'll still have access to it. And if you like podcasts, this will be available on a podcast website that I have set up for these streams specifically. So please go check that out as well in the description of this video. Seriously, though, you're all amazing and beautiful people. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful night. And as always, God bless.